Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on December 3rd, 2021 at approximately 12:57 a.m. p.m. PST. It's 12:57 p.m. PST. Now this is a live recording, meaning I go back when I get done this recording and double check to make sure I got the date right, and then I carry on with it and post it as is. Hiccups, stumbles, the whole 9 yards. The time has come. Now, I build myself to start with as a spiritual guide, meaning the tools that I offer here are the same ones I personally use. These are the same philosophies I personally live by. Okay, and the time has come for me to really step up and come forth with the message I was sent back to this lifetime to carry. That message is real simple. Okay, working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, the reality is how you got to where you are is pertinent as far as it gives you your memories. But the difference between how you got to where you are, how I got to where I am, the differences don't matter. Okay, the reality is that we are all in exactly the same location. We are right here, right now. And this is the only time in existence that anybody can do anything. This is the time for everybody to work together so that we can make this a better world for almost everybody. There will be exceptions, absolutely. But it all starts with you. Okay, now this is a massive task we are undertaking. Okay, and I do encourage you to join me on this journey because what we have to do at this point, the time has come for people to put their differences aside and start working with each other to make this world more effective, to make it a more peaceful, more unified world. And working together, we can make that happen. Now, absolutely, you require people around you. Humans have a real desire to have a sense of belonging. So whatever group you're following, whatever religion you're following, whatever orientation, it doesn't matter. I am not suggesting leaving your friends behind. Actually, in all fairness, I'm asking you to gather everybody to do exactly the same thing. And that is work together to alter the path that human civilization is traveling on. And for that matter, the civilization of every other race in existence, every other species in existence. Now, you may be following whatever path you're on right now, but I only promote 3 laws. And if you compare these 3 laws to the ones that you're following, whether they are civil laws, legal ones laid out by politicians, religious laws, spiritual laws, it doesn't matter. Compare whatever laws you're following to these 3. And these are the only 3 that I look at. Be true to yourself first. Do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. Energy out, energy in. Now, if you are following a law that does not fit inside those 3, absolutely drop me a line in the comments below. I would love to hear about it. Okay, but I personally have looked into regarding the religions and some of the spiritual guidelines. I've looked into Christianity, Jehovah's Witness, the Mormons, the Church of Satan, Hinduism, Buddhism. Okay, I've got one Bible and I don't know what religion this is, but the Bible is literally the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, hopefully I pronounced that right. Plus, of course, I've looked into the guidelines governing AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, NA, which is Narcotics Anonymous. I've talked to people that are in support groups for things like you've gone through child abuse, you've gone through PTSD, or you're going through. Okay, these are all things that I've looked into myself. Now, if you're following a guideline that is different than any of those, or the same, but compare it to those 3 laws I just laid out. If you find one that does not fit inside those 3, absolutely, please drop me a line in the comments below. Okay. Now, the time has come for us all to stand together, regardless of where you are, regardless of what your income is. Okay. People have been classified as spiritual leaders. They've been classified as the elite. They've got more money than we do. Not surprising. But understand, they are still the same as you. They've still got the same requirements. They've still got the same desires. They may have more money. They may have more stuff. But the reality is, it does not make anybody better than the next. We look at the similarities. Everyone that I'm aware of, in time, will die. You're all born, no matter what age you are, especially from any species. Any species that is corporeal, has a dual system, i.e., male and female. Every species that has that arrangement, every single living entity in those species is a child. You have parents, whether you were born, whether you were conceived by physical interaction or by chemistry, by metaphysics, and by scientific method. Doesn't matter. You still got parents making you a kid. And it's time for, myself included, by the way, but it is time to step forth and say, okay, let us all join together, hand in hand, arm in arm, and let us work to make this a better world for virtually everybody. Now, I'm asking those of you that are in a position of wealth, that have more material stuff than other people, when you see somebody having troubles, reach out to them and give them a hand. Do not make the mistake of overextending yourself where all of a sudden you're behind the 8 ball. Okay, this is an issue of one person is not going to correct this. Okay, one person cannot. But here's the reality behind it. If we do nothing, if we continue on the road we are on, civilization will once again drive itself into a hole. It's already doing it. People are already getting panicky. They are already, putting material stuff, putting money ahead of society, ahead of people. Money doesn't care how you feel. All money effectively is a barter system with an agreed upon set amount. And in my opinion, it's a whole lot easier to move a $10 bill around than move a horse. Okay, but it is simply a barter system. In today's world, now my memories date back a lot further than most. Okay, and the reality of it is this. For those of you that remember past lives, especially this one, and this one, some people may not recognize the term. This lifetime, in the past several centuries, I have not seen this kind of greed and debauchery as what is in existence today. Okay. Unfortunately, people have started putting the material world ahead of everything else. Okay. You're starting to drift really badly, and even the spiritual guides that I'm talking to are getting off track. Okay. This is not about numbers. It is not about the value of a dollar bill. It is about the value of the person's heart. And every single individual in existence is of the same value. They are of the same worth. Now, this over here, you'll see a wooden sign that I've actually burned in using a magnifying lens and sunlight. And it says it's got 4 words on it. I am worth it. Now, those 4 words are the 4 most powerful words in any language that I've come across that work really well. They're the most powerful combination to help people build self-esteem, self-worth, self-transformation, the whole 9 yards. Get it through your head really quick. You're not of less importance than the next person. The size of your bank doesn't matter, okay, as compared to the size of your heart. Now, I've run into people on the street that live on the street whether it's by choice or by situation, is not the relevant concern here. They're still on the street. And I've met people on the street that have much more. They've got much more heart. They are much more interested in helping the people around them than the people that claim to be wealthy with a staggering bank account, or the ones that claim to be spiritually more evolved, because they stand in front of a pulpit, in front of a whole pile of people going, listen to me. Now, the reality is, am I asking you to give me a hand? Absolutely. I returned to this world for one reason, one primary reason, and that is to help people understand that working together, we can make this a better world for most people. The time for change is now. Now, I've been fighting it for a very long time and doing my best to stay out of the middle of the spotlight. I had no interest in it. Okay, I really didn't, but it was pointed out to me by a gentleman one day. And the neat part about it was I'd been talking to the guy, and I said, look, the last thing I desire is to be on a pedestal. I never desired that. And this gentleman looks at me and he goes, look, Keith, you can't stop people from putting you on a pedestal. And this goes for all of you. If you're good at something, if you're better at something than other people, doesn't matter what it is. You may be a better accountant, you may be a better, you may be a better detective, you may be a better doctor. If you're better than people, if you are more accomplished in certain skills, people are going to put you on a pedestal. And the guy goes, there's no problem. You can't stop that from happening. That is corporeal nature. Okay, even in the animal kingdom, you'll see it. Okay, where the more adept, when we talk about the strongest leading, it's not always the physically strongest. But the gentleman looked at me and he goes, look, people will put you on a pedestal. You can't do anything about that. But it becomes a problem when you start looking at yourself as though you're on the pedestal. Now, rest assured, from my standpoint, I do not see myself as being a better individual than the next person. Yeah, there are fields that I have a little more knowledge than some, and a whole lot less than others. Because the reality is, there is always going to be somebody better. Okay, there will invariably be somebody better. But the time at this point has come for us to put our differences aside. Okay, maintain a circle of people around you that support your thinking. Absolutely. Because no individual is an island unto themselves. But when you get done with whatever the group activity is, I absolutely encourage you and ask you to join me on this journey. To start spreading the message that working together, we can make this a better world for almost all people. There will be exceptions. Okay, I didn't ask for the spotlight. I was basically pushed into it, is really what it boils down to. Now, the reality is, I'm not, in case you hadn't noticed, I'm really not that soft-spoken. Okay, I do not see myself as being better than the next person by any stretch. But I will tell you, it is time for us to put the negative behind us, to absolutely minimize the negative stuff that's going on around you, and maximize the positive. You focus on the things that are going well. Okay, those are the things you really give the accolades, and when you see something happening that is really good, let the person know. Regularly, if I'm out and about walking around, and I run into somebody that is doing a job, like, for instance, the park workers near the park that I live by, I consistently thank them very much for taking care of the park, because it makes it safe and makes it comfortable for me to be out in. And rest assured, from my standpoint, being out in public, kind of an important thing to feel secure. This is why I became rather reclusive. And yet, it's absolutely been a bit of a challenge because, quite frankly, being empathic, I can feel the pain that's being caused, but not just people against people. I pick up the people against animals, the people that are causing a problem for the planet itself. These things are what I'm picking the energy up on. Now, in my own home, what you're looking at here, I do have it set up a little bit more effectively as far as buffers go, so it's a little easier to focus. But when I leave the house, I have that nice little problem. Okay, where I don't feel as secure, which is why I don't leave very much. Okay, now that being said, this does not make me better or worse than other people. Okay, I can still get out of the house, and there are people I know of that I've personally run into that have major problems getting even outside their apartment door or outside their house door. Okay, this does not make them better or worse than the next person. Everybody's got their hangups. Everybody's got these things that make them different. But the thing we have in common is we are all on this same planet at this same time, and it is up to all of us to work together to make this a better world for most people. Most people, like most spiritual guidelines, most religions, have some sort of belief that this world can evolve into a paradise. Okay, now, due to the fact that I remember centuries back, I remember, man, living on Earth with a few more people than what we've got now. Now, understand, in today's world, the current projections are that on the current rate of growth, of population growth, by the time 2050 rolls around, in other words, in about 30 years, we should be sitting at close to 10 billion people. Now, you're going to find this one hard to believe, I'm sure of it, and I can't prove it. But 40,000 years ago, we had that many people all living on Earth, all living in harmony. There was no fear. Well, there was a little bit of fear, obviously. There was no jealousy. There was no, there was no greed. There was an awful lot of cooperation. And this is why I know for an absolute fact that that time frame when all those people were here, we lived in perfect global peace. Okay. There was no crime, primarily because people lived by the simple three karmic laws. Now, you won't find record of this in all likelihood, because most of that society was back when physical manifestation was a simple fact of life. If you desired to create something, you created it in the palm of your hand with your own thoughts. Okay, needless to say, when the civilization passed, okay, when it faded, there was no record left because everything had been done by mental cohesion. And as soon as the civilization collapsed, and it did that based on a simple thought process, or a cessation thereof is more to the point, all the records went away. But at that time, with no peace, with no war, no greed, no debauchery, when you have all that, to me, this was paradise. With that in mind, the rumor that there is a paradise that can be built on this planet, absolutely, I absolutely concur. With that in mind, working together, we can make this a better world for most people. We can work towards a return to paradise. Okay, where we don't have the illnesses, where we don't have the fear. Okay, where we don't have the greed and the debauchery, where we don't have the control issues. Now, yes, this is going to take the work on all of your parts, and I'm absolutely asking you to join me on this journey. Start when you do go outside, when you meet somebody, absolutely take the time to smile at them. Okay, it doesn't hurt to smile for most people. There's a few that, quite seriously, it does. Of course, usually they've been hurt in such a way that they're still trying to heal. But when you leave your house, okay, or better yet, starting in your house, really work at getting to stabilize the energy in your house. Start working with the people you're living with to make that immediate location a more effective, more comfortable energy. Now, understand, energy cannot be destroyed. It can be altered, it can be redirected. but it cannot be destroyed. And it is up to you, it is up to all of us to start working together to make this a better world. Now, like I said, I'm not telling you walk away from whatever path you're on. I'm saying, in addition to what you're already doing, reach out and absolutely, I am requesting your assistance to spread this message, to let people know that you can actually make a better world, that one person can make a difference. Okay, ultimately it boils down to this, and I'd have to run through it, but when people start helping each other, okay, and start with you, just you reach out, you help one person a month, okay. Now, I haven't done the actual calculation given out yet, but you help one person a month, and you continue doing that, and everybody that you help does the same thing. When we do this, okay, the numbers all of a sudden go 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. You can calculate it, but it gets up there pretty quick. Okay, in that respect, if everybody does their part, or more to the point, when everybody does their part, I wonder if I can do that while I'm here. I'm actually looking to see if my calculator is handy. And of course not. So we use this one to see what we come up with. Just because it just dawned on me, I really should give you a number to work with. So bear with me for just half a second. Okay, we are looking at, if starting today, you only help one person per month, and every month from this point forward, okay, each of you only helps one person. So you help one, that person goes on to help one person. Doesn't matter what it is you're doing. If everybody helps one person per month, okay, in approximately just over 2.5 years, we will be helping, okay, the numbers of people starting with just you as one individual in just over 2 years' time. Okay, we are looking at helping approximately 1 billion people. That is based on just one person. Okay, now I'm asking all of you to join me. One person a month. It's not a whole lot. When I'm talking about one person, okay, that help may be something you'll love this, because I'm making it really difficult for you. One person a month. Hold the door open for them as they're approaching the door with their arms full, or if they don't have anything in their arms. One person a month. Simply look at them and say hi. A homeless person sitting on the street. I'm not saying you have to give them all kinds of money, but a simple, how are you doing? Okay. A simple hello is helping, and I am talking about helping one person a month. Now, it's not a big challenge, but the reality is, am I starting to spearhead this? Oh yeah, but I'm not doing it on one person a month. Now, understand, I happen to be rather reclusive. I don't go out to bar scenes, so I'm not about to change that. But just that one person can multiply to in excess of 1 billion people helping each other. And that's just with one person starting it. Picture what can happen if we start off with every one of you people that are listening to this vlog. Picture if every one of you does that. Now, I can tell you, if I look it up anyway, and bear in mind, this is a live recording, meaning I don't go back and modify this at all. I do not go back and edit any of it. But I am just looking here to see what I'm looking at. Where are we here? That is not the dashboard. So we go to there. Okay, right now on my YouTube channel, I have 168 people. Now, picture, if you will, one person in 25 months will generate, if you and everybody you help simply goes out and helps one person a month. Okay, you take that 1 billion, okay, which is approximately what that one person will generate. And we look at this and get this. Just a rough calculation. This is just for the subscribers to my channel right this moment. You take 168, okay, 168 subscribers. You're looking at, in 2 years, we can have, roughly speaking, 168 billion people that have been reached. Now, there's only roughly 7.5 billion on the planet today. But if we take that and take into consideration the separation issue that we're talking, or the 6 degrees of separation that I've mentioned before, where everybody is connected by knowing 6 people. So let's take that 168 billion people being helped, okay, in 2 years, divide it by 6. And now we are still at 168 billion. And again, we're just going to do this. 168 billion, divide that by 6. We are still looking at 28 billion people being helped. Okay, now at 28 billion people, that is approximately 3.5 times the current population of Earth. Okay, now here's where it gets to be a little bit more complicated. There are lots of other species out there. You know, your cats, your dogs, your birds, your deer, all of these, including things like your climbing ivy, your elemental fire, your water, and you include all those. And we are still working on a situation where, working together, we can make this a better world for everybody. I'm not suggesting you really drastically alter what you're doing. I am talking about this happens if you simply focus on helping one person every month. Okay. Now, needless to say, based on that, the more people that we help, the better this world becomes for most people. Okay. Yes, I'm absolutely asking you to join me on this. Okay. I would do it. You know, people have asked me why I don't do a live broadcast. It's because my schedule gets really hooped. Okay. But it's time for everybody to step up and really start making this a better world. There are, in my perspective, nobody is worth more than the next person. Sure, some of your bank accounts are in better shape. Some of your health is in better shape. But you're all of equal spiritual value. Now, with this in mind, I will be back again tomorrow. Okay, but until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.